Hey, everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Leah. Hi, Leah.
Hi, everybody.
And we are super excited because we are joined by two of our favorite people.
hmm
We have Carrie and Ryan. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
And Melanie Moreland. Hi, Melanie.
Hello, Becky.
Um,
Leah.
Super excited. Melanie's already giving me crap before we even started.
I mean, you started it.
I really did.
You
your own
threw it
fault.
out. You did start it.
I
It's
did
your own
start it.
fault.
It is my own fault
You
because
threw down the gauntlet.
This is
because
true.
I have big thoughts. Some people think they're wrong, but we all know I'm always right, so they're right. Did you know this about me, Carrie? I do not read epilogues ever.
That's not true.
That's not true. If it's an audiobook, I'll read the epilogue because I don't stop it.
So I didn't, but knowing you, yeah, makes sense.
Although she recently read a book and was the only one who read a book, and she read the epilogue, and she will not let us live it down.
You guys. So we've started these new episodes on Wednesday nights where we're doing a book club style episode. We pick a title and then we talk about it and spoil it, but really like break down the characters and what we loved. Very first book we picked. I am the only one who read it. Everybody else ended up DNFing it.
Yeah, I did not DNF it. I Lea'd it.
She
which means
skimmed the
I s-
last 60%
Oh, no.
of it.
I skimmed like 95% of it. Like I read like 3 chapters. I was like, yeah.
And
I'm just
Melanie,
gonna-
I
Like
read
what
the
I used to do in
epilogue.
YA trilogies.
Yes.
See
Oh
who she
yeah,
picked?
you have to
Yeah.
go through but you can if you do it correctly, if you skip every like 7 chapters, like you don't really miss a lot of story if the book isn't that good.
And I read the
Aw.
epilogue. Melanie, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I'm trying to be a better reader and read the epilogue.
She is salty
Okay.
about it though. So
Yeah.
salty.
You know what,
So-
Becky? I don't give a shit if you read everybody's epilogues. Read mine.
I will. I even downloaded bonus epilogue for My Favorite Kidnapper.
Well, those are epic. I'm sorry.
They're adorable.
I read them because I like just that little glimpse.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Just that little glimpse, and because I have so many characters that everyone wants them to have children, and I'm
This
like,
is
well,
true.
half of them won't. And because I don't have kids, and so I like writing the epilogue where they literally are getting older and don't have kids, or
I love that you
or
do that with your
or
characters
I
though.
introduce their kids. That way I don't have to worry about them later. And it's all wibbly wobbly time because I need to finish the series.
What you don't finish series, you just add a second gen.
Well, duh. But yeah, because the thing is, I need epilogues because Nora Roberts doesn't do them.
She
And
doesn't.
it just ends. And I'm like,
It does just end.
But what
it's great.
happened?
Like, I've loved the book. And I'm like, but why aren't they all sitting down around the fire with a beer in their hands talking? I'm sorry.
But I need
Like,
more.
I need closure.
Exactly.
And
But
see,
they don't
Becky
really.
doesn't.
I don't
And
need
Becky
closure.
doesn't need it. Yeah.
No,
Because-
no epi Becky.
If
'Cause
you
that
write,
sounds like a me problem.
it is a you problem because here's the deal. You wrote, both of you. I typically don't read Carrie Ann's epilogues. We all know I don't read Melanie's because typically you've written such a solid story in the base of the book that I am comfortable knowing that these two people are together forever. They have an HEA, and I don't need to necessarily know what happened 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, 60 years later. I don't necessarily need that, particularly because Carrie Ann will just give me a next gen in 2 years, and I'll see that they're still eating cheese and happily in love.
I mean, I'm not going to break up couples, but like, there's a couple Montgomerys that, I mean, they're fine, but like maybe their kids aren't fine.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, I started off the next gen series kind of like, okay, this is fine, this is fine. Like, yes, I've unalived people and bad things have happened and we've cried, but like I've waited to do like the really gut-wrenching stuff to like what I'm doing now. So sorry, everyone's fine.
Yeah, you have kind of broken my heart with the current Wilder Brothers series. So then I had to read like My Favorite Kidnapper by Melanie Moreland because I needed somebody to make me happy. Because
But that's such a good series, although the E's all the E's. It was so
So
complicated.
I did it as a joke, and I wasn't planning on writing them. And then I was like, and then I was sitting down with my dad, and I never wrote military romance because my dad's military. And
Mhm.
I was sitting down with my dad, and I came up with the idea, and I hated myself in that moment
Have
because I had to write 7 E's.
Melanie, have you ever written, like, come up with an idea that you're like, okay, and then you wove it into, like, maybe just how big of an asshole Richard was? Like, do you regret that? Do you think, what was I
He was
thinking?
such an asshole.
Yes, I know he was an asshole, but everybody loves him.
We do.
Now.
Now, yes.
I've read
My
that.
worst idea was at the end of the ABC series. I wrote an epilogue, Becky, and gave them, between the group of them, 27 children as a joke.
I
I
have
think that was the
50.
end of the vested interest series. But then people were begging for the second generation, and I'm like, holy shit, I shouldn't have given them so many kids.
I have
Because now I
50.
have to write 27 stories.
You have
Yeah, that's true.
50 in the Montgomerys?
Yeah, if you add them all up, they're 50.
You're
there's-
worse than I am.
Yeah, because there was 20 cousins, and so there's 50 next gens. But there's not going to be, in this series, there's not going to be 50 books. I'm not that crazy. I am not.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
Carrie, I've
mean,
known you a
just-
minute, so.
I know the metadata on Amazon alone would not allow that for me.
Could you imagine a 50 books? Although I love the Montgomery. I like long series, but I'm also the chaotic person that does not read them in order.
No, you're not.
I don't read anything in
So-
She
order.
claims she's doing the community a service.
It's community service because you sold it as a standalone.
Yeah, I do my best to
Look
not,
at
but-
Melanie. She's like so done with me.
I mean, it works, but I have been trying to. Where was my thought? So I've been trying to like make my work harder because I'm 100 and something books into my career, and I want to do something different. And so while I know like the plot of the next book, I don't really know everything yet because it's a few books down the line. And so I'll write the epilogue, which is what you don't read, but the last chapter is the teaser chapter of the next book. And 9
Mhm.
times out of 10, I write a scene that comes to me that I have no idea how it's going to fit in the book.
Do you
That
always
sounds
put
about
it-
right?
But do you always put it in the book, or do you sometimes just have that teaser chapter as a teaser chapter?
I'm not a Marvel trailer. I'm going to put it in the book.
I'm not a Marvel trailer.
I'm just asking.
What are the
Yeah,
week?
no. Yeah. Like the end of so I've already
Those
written
fighting words.
so I'm writing the Forever Rule right now, and I've already written the last scene that's going to
Mhm.
be in book 2, even though I'm not done with the book because it came to me, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it in book 2. No idea, or how I'm going to fix it, but I'm excited to figure it out. I have to be excited. I'm too many books in.
Spoken like a true writer.
So let's talk about that a little bit as writers, because Carrie, you're not much of a plotter. You kind of just have an idea and
No,
sit
I'm
down.
a huge plotter.
You're a huge plotter.
Yeah, I'm a color-coded outline. I have
Now, see, I
That's
thought
why-
she just threw
that's why,
ideas
like,
at
her
the wall.
baby math is like right, and
Yeah, like, I have-
all
this
the
is
math
my-
is right in Carrie Ann
I was
world.
plotting the character arcs of the Cage Family series. So like and then it's all
Wait, is
in
that
my,
just the Cage Family series?
yeah, so that isn't out yet. But yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
so I
but there's
needed
like
to
8
introduce you to-
children in the Cage family.
Well, this is true. Well,
Yeah,
because
so I
nothing
had
can be
Look at the
small.
smile.
She's like, yes, I gave this 8
You're
children.
evil.
and they don't all have e-names, okay?
Well, that's.
I mean, honestly, that's all we need.
we'll
it's
read
so
them
bad.
all.
Because we were trying to talk about one of the books, and like we were talking about the characters, and we're like, this one. No, wait, I think it's this one. Well, it's an E, so it doesn't really matter.
So eventually my dad, because my dad was working on it, like, because we were discussing like their jobs and stuff, and we
Mhm.
just started talking. My dad started calling them by their rank
Okay.
in the military, and then my editors and I talked about them, about who their heroine was with, or what their job was.
That's how we do it. We're always like, the heroine that's the cook, her husband, or
Yes.
the wedding planner, because that's just.
I'm terrible with names in real life, but I can pretty much do them for my books. So I don't know why.
So another secret about Becky, I change names in books. Which is why if you ever read my reviews and the name does not match, it's because I've changed the name. Melanie, are you leaving yet?
I think my cat's calling me.
That's what I thought. Yeah, Melanie, I changed names. I actually did an interview with an author, and she's a friend. She's a friend. I beta read her book.
You didn't change his name when you read the book. It was just during the interview. You were wrong.
But his persona was like Handy Manny, like that fun, like we'll fix it kind of guy, like just gonna lend a helping hand. And he was a hockey player, and his real name was Benny. But in the whole interview with the author, I called him Manny. And finally,
That wasn't the whole one. It was like a good section of it, and I called you out on it. And Danica was like, "Yeah, I just let it go."
just let it go because she just
It's Becky.
I just changed names.
That's pretty much what she said. She's like, "It's just Becky," so I wasn't worried about it.
Sometimes names don't fit characters. Now, Melanie, do you think it's hard to name characters, or do you find naming characters easy? You also don't have 50 children, so in your books, like Carrie over there.
Most of the time, it's fairly easy. They tell me their names. But there's been a few times when I've started writing a book, and I'm like, no, that name just does not work for me. I'm sorry, and I change it. But usually before it's published, I don't have someone change it after.
You're welcome.
I feel like Richard's name was very appropriate for him and his character, though.
It was. And that was my then editor said to me, I forget what I had him called. She's like, you got to name this guy Richard because he's such a dick. I was like, okay.
Very fitting.
Yes.
I usually, like, I have to figure out my names beforehand in my spreadsheet when I figure out a whole series. But the problem is I named children on the go because I'm not going to write those next gen, and then I wrote them, and so now I have doubles. So now people get nicknames.
Yes.
Oh, but if you're thinking like in a family itself, like my husband, there are 4 people in the same family with the same name, but they're not all juniors. And like my Michael is a Michael, but he is not a Michael Jr. Like he is Michael, his dad is Michael, but they're not junior and senior. So I feel like multiple names in like a big family. So when we were naming our kids, that was one of the stipulations. There could be no names that we picked that were in the family. He's like, you
Same.
realize that knocks out like 90 names. I'm like, yes, I do. But
Mike-
we're not having it.
Mike Burrier's family, very Catholic, very Irish Catholic. They used the same 5 names for the last 3 generations. And everybody was like, Mike is the only Mike, but he had a Uncle Tim, and his cousin who was older than him, 40-year-old man, everybody's still calling him Timmy. Do you want to be 40 and called Timmy?
I mean, it brings youth.
She can't even finish.
She's like, yeah, I'm out. But yeah, that was my rule too. No one else could share the names. Like we could have a variation. Like Mike's grandmother was from Australia, so Sydney is Sydney Kathleen, and they had like 7 Catherines. So Kathleen was close, but covered all the saints and the angels.
Yeah, I think for me though is because I have like 55 paranormal and 65. I think at some point when I run out of names in the universe, I'm just going to be like, well, the paranormal's its own thing, and then start taking from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the baby name books, they're like 1,000 pages. They're not.
Yeah, but they don't, like, some of them culturally I can't use, and some of
this is
them, just don't fit the character, and some of them I can't pronounce. And so,
That's
that
the other
happens
reason
to
I
us all
change
the time.
names. If I can't pronounce the name, like if I don't know, I
but
just.
is Reese really one of those?
You mean Rice?
I didn't
Yeah.
mean Rice.
yeah,
Yeah, Rice.
no, I am the meme on TikTok with them trying to read the fantasy books. when
So
it's a gobbledygook.
Yeah.
we actually have asked authors to send us phonetic pronunciations of their own names so we can pronounce them when we talk about them.
I have learned to just make an audio file of me pronouncing all the names for my narrators,
Mhm.
Smart.
That's a
and I
good
just send
idea.
that to them.
Yes.
So smart. So Melanie, are you a plotter in your
No,
books? No, you're not.
I'm an absolute pantser.
Just get a random
Totally.
idea.
Yes, Richard was a random idea. Bentley was a random idea. I heard the name and loved it and came up with a funny line and
Really,
just
that name I haven't used.
Okay. Well, coming soon to a book near you from Carrie
he
and
was
Ryan.
my bellhop in San Diego. And he's like, my name's Bentley. If there's anything I can do, I'm like, Bentley.
That's a
What a
good name.
fabulous name.
I
You're like, I'm
forgot.
going to use that.
I forgot about this, Melanie. Jenny just said you're a shower idea person.
Absolutely.
I love shower ideas. I will.
The addendum, yes. I'm in the shower and I lifted my arm to get something. And for some reason, I saw Richard Van Ryan's shirt cuff. He always had his initials engraved. And that set off a whole book that was not planned. And I got out of the shower, buck naked, and called my PA and said, oh my God, I just had this amazing idea. And I rattled it off to her. And she's like, wow, where'd that come from? I'm like, I have no idea. And then she's like, what's that noise? I'm like, oh, it's the shower. She's like, you're in the shower? I said, well, no, I'm outside the shower. In fact, I still have soap in my hair. And she's like, you're talking to me naked. I'm like, yep.
Becky
I
texts
got
me her
back.
shower
She hung up and I
ideas.
got
Yeah.
back in the shower.
I do. I'll yell for, like Siri to text Leah, and then I'll ramble on my idea that I had in the shower. And then next thing I know, I get a text back from Leah that says, shower idea, huh? I'm like, yeah.
Because it's always like chaos. Like shower ideas are always chaotic.
Yes, they are.
I have some of my best ideas in the shower.
Yeah, I have a whole note thing of me either in the shower or tub or in the pool or, just random scenes that come to mind that I have no idea where I'm going to use it next. But then I plot it in
Yeah.
because I need to know where I'm going.
I guess this doesn't surprise me because you have such an academic background that,
Yeah,
note
I was
cards.
a chemist and a mathematician. I need to use some of that.
Mhm.
Do you have a big whiteboard and red string? Just asking for.
That is my favorite meme, though. The Carol meme from Always Sunny. Like, that is my brain. It's like,
Yeah.
I want, maybe for my office rehaul, maybe I have space for one.
There you go. You need it on wheels so you can pull it out the next time we do an
Or
episode.
like a
You can
flippy
be like,
one too that you can like
Yes, oh, a
spin it.
flippy one. So one that like has the photos of the
Yes.
characters, and then the other one with the. Okay, well,
It's like your
I'll have
murder
one.
board, but you're not murdering
Yes.
anybody.
I have a book room that right now is filled to the brim with book bonanza stuff. It has space in there for a murder board.
There you go. We'll get you a plaque that says Carrie Ann's murder board.
Yes.
I mean, plotting, memes, and office supplies. Like, what more do I
Heaven,
think?
pure heaven. Got it. So what is one of the hardest things? So ask some real questions and not just all of our random musings.
Who needs real questions?
Melanie always says, like, Becky, are we ever going to actually talk about books when I hang out with you? Because I'm like,
Well, usually there's alcohol involved.
you could have had
It's true.
alcohol. It is
We are
Sunday
sober
night.
tonight.
It's Sunday. You got to do it once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, who needs to get up on Monday morning? I work for myself,
I just have to pack.
right?
We start morning swim tomorrow,
What time did you be up?
Oh.
6:00.
That's so stupid.
That's early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so early.
I will not be getting up.
Happy summer break.
My cats wake me up at that moment anyway, so I don't need an alarm clock. I just have one that headbutts me.
Oh, that's fun.
Mama, I'm hungry. Feed me.
Could you
Like,
please?
it's been 6 hours.
Yes. Did you know it's 6:05 and I usually get breakfast at 6 a.m.?
Mhm. Blame my husband for that. He started feeding them at 6, and he's been gone for 7 years now, and I still have to feed them at 6 in the morning.
Damn it. Damn it. Well, this is when I always like, whenever my mom will see something like my dad started, I'm like, want to go to the graveyard and throw rocks at his headstone. She's like, yeah, let's go. That's what we do.
That's horrible.
Isn't it? But it makes us feel better. So
I know. Well, I mean, as we're like off topic, whatever. I have 4 elderly cats now, and so they all have issues. And every time I'm like, Dan, like you left me with this, so it's fun to blame them.
it is. I mean, Mike Burrier's not dead, and I like to blame him for everything, and most things are his fault.
You know, the burdens are heavy.
The birds are. So when you sit down and you have an idea, how do you come up with that first initial idea? Is it just a scene that randomly happens for you? Like, Melanie, you just did your Men of the Falls, and we're waiting for whatever is coming next. Although we just had a restoration book, right? Reynolds
Mhm.
Restoration.
That comes out Tuesday.
June 11th is killing me.
Thursday, sorry.
Okay, so the 13th.
13th. Yes.
Well, and
This
Carrie
week
just
there's
had
a
a
lot of
book
stuff
last
coming out.
Monday. You just,
Mhm.
because this was the
Yeah, well-
end of the brothers.
Yeah, so-
Monday.
No, this is the middle brother.
So there's still one more coming?
Yeah, hold on, I have them right here.
Look at her. Carrie brought visual aids
She
because she
has her
knows.
list.
Here's book 1.
Good
Oh, I
time,
have that
boyfriend.
one.
This is the one that came out Monday,
Okay.
and this is
Which
the
was
one
fun.
that comes out in October.
And that's the second
Mm.
chance. That's
Yeah, this one was fun. By fun, I mean, okay, this is a lighter series.
Mhm.
it is.
This was my rom-com.
Yeah, but coming off the Wilders, like we needed something a little lighter because
Yeah.
they were. I ugly cried through multiple books.
Yay! I mean, I'm so sorry.
She's not really sorry.
I mean, I cry when I dictate too, so it works.
Well, the last
That's what I
Wilder we
want from
had,
fans.
they're both widows.
Yeah, wait, which one is the? Oh, so I can answer the first question talking
Yeah.
about this. So, Moments for You was I knew the hero that I wanted to write a widower,
Mm-hmm.
and the heroine I didn't know she was going to be a widow until I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw a wedding dress, and then then I scrolled again and I saw a gravestone, and the next I saw, and then so I got sad because it was Dan's birthday.
Yeah.
And so I just started plotting. And so the idea was she looks at Instagram and it's a call for a wedding dress, and it's the anniversary of her husband's death. And she's like, I'm the same size. Here's my wedding dress. And I wrote that scene and the scene where she lets the dress go on the anniversary of my husband's death.
So you just wanted us to cry with you because you could have just called me, Carrie. You could have just said, "Hey, Becky, I'm feeling sad. Can we just cry together?"
Yeah.
I would have. I'd have sent you a bottle of tequila. Like,
I didn't mean for that to happen, actually. Like because I have a very tight schedule of what I do, and I'm plotting, and I'm like, oh, well, this will be interesting. And it was, so.
Melanie, do you like to make your readers cry?
Oh, no.
Because
See,
We
this is why
love
we-
to make our readers cry.
Because in Roman, which,
Water our gardens with the tears of our readers.
yeah, I'm buying you like your own bottle of Writer's Tears whiskey
A
for
little
you.
dark. Dark.
That the content, the tears of my readers. Yeah,
Yeah.
Carrie. I think you need more of like a half-gallon jug for that last book from you.
So the thing, though, is the sadder I feel while writing, the hotter I make the scenes because I feel like you need that.
Yeah, okay. You do give us the
It's
spice.
fair.
Yeah, the more growling and,
But Melanie, just with the Men of the Falls, the Romance book, like I was in tears. You made me cry in
Well,
that book.
she doesn't cry at books very often.
And I'm like a rock.
Oh, is she like my Karen? There's not much of a heart there.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I don't read epilogues.
yeah, I don't cry while reading, which is weird. But I cry like at commercials and things. But reading, I don't cry anymore.
It has to be pretty impactful. So again, couple
Sorry.
widows and a wedding dress, apparently.
The
That one.
next book isn't as sad.
So
The
that's
next book that for us was the most fun I've had writing a Wilder.
perfect because we're gonna need
They're
that.
like firecrackers. And then the
Oh,
book that I write,
yay.
the book that I start writing in 2 weeks is Gabriel story. No. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, preemptive apologies.
Preemptive apologies to
You should
Like,
send
yeah,
packets of tissues out with your books
I know.
when you
I
send
thought
them.
about adding it to my swag bag, but I was like, you know,
Buy your own damn Kleenex.
Someone was like, "Oh, Melanie, she's so sweet and nice," and I'm like, until you tell her you have bad habits, and then she's like, I'm off the island.
Karen says I'm sweet and nice until I get behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah.
And she's right.
Carrie,
well, that is true with me. Yeah, I'm very nice sometimes. Well, most of the time, and then, but behind the wheel, especially because everyone says that I put this in the Wilder Brothers because it's true. Everyone says that Texas drivers drive fast, and they really do. But as soon as you hit South Texas Hill Country, they go 35 miles an hour and a 55.
Those assholes.
you have no idea what bad driving is until you have driven in Michigan and had Michigan drivers.
But there's looping in Michigan.
Oh
There's
my God.
looping.
And Jersey has the jug handles, so like I feel.
Don't ever make
Anyway.
me pick you up at the airport at Detroit Metro Airport in Michigan. Just don't. It's safer for
No,
everybody.
please do. Because you get fun commentary.
Only if Leah's in
And
the
we
car.
loop.
We
There's looping.
One of our friends, Carrie, flew into Detroit, and we went to Bray in Columbus earlier in May.
Mhm.
And I am not good with there's only 2 terminals at Detroit Metro. There's an
But there's a lot
international
of lanes.
terminal in Delta, and there's domestic arrivals and departures. We looped 6 times.
There's so much looping.
Leah's like, and it was really busy Friday afternoon, so it's like 6 lanes of traffic. So I'm not the person to pick you up from the airport. Is all.
Those psychos, like who moves to the lane closest to the building? You're never getting out. Like honestly.
Yeah, the old Polycon Hotel was like
Mhm.
right next to, was it Reagan? I think. And so to get out, every single time I would drive out, I would end up going through the airport because like there's a little turn to get to the highway, or you just go through the airport loops a couple times
Ooh,
and then you get on the
she's a
highway.
looper too.
I did
Uh-oh.
it 3 times, 3 years in a row.
And
I'm like,
you
I can't
looped
make this
every
mistake
time?
again, every time. And then our Uber driver did it. And I'm like, yes.
And
You
Melanie
live
is
here.
like, none of you people are picking me up from the airport. I'm driving myself.
No, I will send you a car service that has like champagne or bubbly water on the back. I don't go to the airport.
Have you ever been to Toronto, Pearson?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, you have to take a 14-lane highway to get there.
How do you cross that? Like how
Very
do you
carefully.
merge?
YOLO?
Do you just
Very
turn
fast.
I was gonna say, do you just turn signal and go?
You and pray. Yes.
Oh.
Matthew had me pick him up, and I'm not a good driver at night. I've got bad eyesight. And
Join the
my
club.
GPS, my phone fell. So my phone's on the floor.
Oh,
So I can't hear it. I don't know where I'm going, and I'm in this lane, and I know I need over there at some point. So I go over and I get off in the wrong place, and suddenly I'm behind all the landing strips of the airport, and I don't know where I am. And I finally pull over and phone Matthew, sobbing. I'm like behind. I'm in a warehouse, and he's like, "Okay, just go straight and it'll take you back to the highway." So I finally found my way to him. And by the time I found my way to him, he'd been standing there for 45 minutes. And I got out of the car and I'm just a mess. And it was a book boyfriend moment, because the guy's like, as soon as you stop at Toronto Airport, they're like, "Get out of the way." And Matt's like, "Just hold on. My wife's upset." And he pulls me in his arms and he gives me a big hug. He's like, "It's okay. I'm here now. Go sit in the passenger seat." So I got in the passenger seat, and the next time we went, he showed me where I got off like 2 exits too soon and ended up in the,
That's so sweet.
wherever, somewhere in the back of the airport. But I
So what I'm
still,
hearing is people are glad that you and I work from home.
Karen came once and we drove to Niagara Falls for a signing, and we got out of the car. She's like, I don't know who you are behind the wheel. I don't want to get back in the car with you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
"What
have
the
to
fuck is
drive
wrong?"
to
And I'm like, "Oh,
downtown
I'm sorry,
San
I'm still
Antonio
behind the
for
wheel."
Wanderlust, and I'm still afraid. They're like, oh, you can just drive back and forth. I'm like, I'm doing the drive once.
Yeah.
It's 20 minutes away. San Antonio's not that bad, except for the fact that all the roads are this big. So.
Yeah. I'm a passenger princess. I just like to sit in the passenger, let Mike
So
drive.
do I.
I just don't like to drive anywhere. So.
Yeah, I get to drive to Dallas on Wednesday. Good luck, everyone, on I-35.
Oh my God.
Ooh, I mean, Dallas traffic is
Brave girl.
terrible.
Well, I've done this drive 3 or 4 times now.
Okay.
Oh, so it's like old hat.
Yeah, like I know exactly where to get gas and pee, like on the exit. So I'm great.
The important parts.
Are you going to Bucky's?
Exactly. Yeah, so Bucky's on the way there, and then on the way back, it's the blue and white one, like the American one, and it's like 3 exits after the Bucky's, and it's gorgeous, and no one's ever there. So I go there.
Nice.
No.
What is the best part of writing? Now we're to writing. We've done driving, airports.
These are
We
my
added
favorite
in-
interviews.
Yeah, we added in some book signing stuff.
Yeah, we talked books. Melanie,
It's okay.
see?
Tangents are our favorite.
Melanie, what's the best part of writing? And it is not. So listen, Melanie learned I don't read epilogues. She threatens to put me in a car and drive me off a cliff in an epilogue. And I'll never
you
know.
wouldn't read it because it's an epilogue.
Yeah, you'll never know that you're.
And I
Best
wrote an
part of
actual
writing?
cliff. I wrote people holding onto a cliff as a cliffhanger once, and it was like literally the scene of Dylan and Brandon on 90210.
That's so mean. Here's a cliffhanger for you. Pun intended.
Sorry. Yeah, my favorite part is plotting, if you can't tell.
Carrie likes to plot. What about you, Melanie? Writing epilogues, is that your favorite part? She does.
I think
Stumped her.
getting to know my characters
Just getting
and
to know.
bringing them to life.
So building out the characters.
Yes.
Notice neither one of us said writing.
The actual.
I hate writing.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
I'm
like to
great
have
at
written-
the chapter 1. By chapter 10, I'm getting annoyed. And by the time the book's finished, I'm like, thank Christ, it's done.
Yeah, 20,000
then I know I
words
gotta
is
read
where
it
I want to
3
jump
times.
off that cliff. Yeah.
Yeah.
20,000 words, I want to jump off the cliff. 40,000, I'm like, what if I just end it here? And then I can finish the rest.
I always say to Karen, this book's going to be short. It's going to be about 40,000. And then when I hit 80, she's laughing her ass off.
Yeah.
And then when I finish, she's like, so how long's the book? So
140?
it's never- yeah. No, I'm usually good about 85, 90.
Yeah, I try to do 70, 75.
Yeah.
So.
I find if a book's too long that I get disinterested when I'm reading. So I try not to do that. And
We
I'd rather-
appreciate that more than you know.
I was
And
gonna
I
say,
feel like I would have to add in a second, like a second suspense or a second emotional thing, or I'd have to break them up a lot, and I don't want to do that. And other
Exactly.
people can make that really work, but I'm just a little tighter. in the
other people
thoughts
are
that I do.
delusional because actually it inspired you guys, that 70 to 90,000 word inspired a whole episode for next weekend where Leah and I are going to do book recs under 350 pages.
Well, there you go. Most of mine should fit in there.
All of the
First book would
Reynolds.
not. I was far too long-winded when my first book.
Well, it's your first book. You get a pass.
Yeah, my Romanticy series is longer, but all my contemporaries and paranormals are, I think the longest is 90.
Yeah.
But that was an MMF, and it was a lot of chapters of 3 people.
There's a
doing
lot of
things.
people doing things on
Yeah,
those.
a lot of
that
limbs.
extra person, it makes a difference.
Yeah, my menages are always longer.
A lot of holes to
There's a
fill.
lot of puns in there. I'm tired.
It's okay. I love every single second of it. There's lots of holes to fill. That's right, Melanie. Lots of them.
But there's not too many. Because if you have more than 3, it just doesn't make sense.
We do best with 3.
Some people can make it work. I like writing the MMFs or the M's touch. I mean, it is pride. So
I mean, swords crossing is never a bad thing. I'm just saying, in a reverse harem or one of those why chooses, any more than 3. So 4 total, because more than 3, it doesn't make sense because you run out of holes, people. You run out of
I only have so many hands.
especially if they're not if the guys aren't touching, do the other ones just get
Exactly.
bored?
Like if swords cross, then it's like you can add like another one or two
I've
because
only read
there's more holes.
up to 3, so I need to read more than that so I know it, because I know authors can do it right. I just haven't
I
read
have
them
not
yet.
come across one that I really enjoy.
Well, I will find one. Darn it.
Okay.
Okay.
This is your challenge,
I know.
Carrie Ann
I
Ryan.
have to go find a bunch of swords. Okay.
But the swords can't cross. Like
No,
that's
they
the
have to
thing.
be not perpendicular, parallel.
Parallel.
Perpendicular. Oh, those are
perpendicular.
crossing.
Perpendiculars have already crossed.
They must stay parallel.
Yeah.
We will
Who
need
knew we were getting math lessons tonight too?
we need visual aids. This is why you need a murder board.
Oh, and then like a trapezoid, because they're different sizes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A rhombus.
Rhombus.
A rhombus.
Melanie,
So
are you
sorry,
done with
everyone,
us
that I
yet?
bored you.
Melanie's just hanging
We
out.
just did geometry.
Yeah, I'm taking in all the lessons, okay?
Because
Is there a pop quiz later? Because I have notes, okay?
she wrote notes.
Yeah, the stick figures for this geometry is a little obscene. We can't put it online.
We'll need some Barbies.
I mean, Katie Roberts has sex Barbies, and I actually have contemplated buying sex Barbies.
I did. The guy's leg fell off, and then I just never.
That's a whole different story.
That's true.
I wrote that too. Anyway,
I was gonna say, wait, I think you do have an
I
amputee.
twisted it wrong, so it's fine.
He
I'm like,
did
well,
not.
that
He
doesn't
did not
work.
bend that way.
No.
He wasn't quite bendy enough.
You should have
Oh, dear.
stretched first.
He wasn't limber enough.
Well, this has degenerated into something. I
It
don't
has.
like.
Okay, wait. So, do you think? Okay,
But
so
wait, there's more.
So one of the things that
Wait.
we have recently talked about, and I have big thoughts on, obviously, because you know it's me.
Oh, is this?
This should be good.
Third act breakups, you guys. So one of the things that we're seeing in some romances are that a lot of times there aren't third act breakups, but there's not that suspense element, or there's not that big a peak of emotion. And it sometimes doesn't feel like an author knows where to end it without the third act breakup. Like I recently read one, it was so, like the last 20%, it was like the author didn't know where to stop because they weren't breaking up. And it just kept going. And
But there wasn't anything like keeping you interested.
no, and it took a 5-star book down to a 4-star because I was kind of like,
So I think,
bored.
especially right now, because a lot of readers don't want that chest hurting angst. They want to, and so some authors can really do that right, where there's no third act breakup, there's no suspense, there's just a kick, and so some authors can do it really well because they know their beats.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. So, and I just haven't tried because I usually, if they don't break up, then I set something on fire, or there's a tornado, or just little things. So it's the suspense element is the break, and then sometimes they get back together, or I need that suspense, and I need that, and I enjoy reading that. But I know some readers don't, and so some authors can figure it out. I haven't figured out how to. I don't know what to replace that beat with.
yeah, I want the emotional angst. What are your thoughts, Melly? Because you tend to not give us third act breakups, but you do give us big action.
But there's always a third act something.
There's something to keep you engaged in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, what are you going to start writing? They're doing the dishes. They're going grocery shopping. Like you don't want, that's real life years down the road. And that's what we're trying to get away from. So there always has to be some sort of emotional upheaval or a breakup or a tornado, or, I like to set buildings on fire.
Same. I just did that actually.
Yeah,
I mean, we
it's,
like a good kidnapping.
Yeah, I'm only allowed like 1 or 2 kidnappings per series now. It happens, but
she has a limit. Okay.
So a good beat that I know some people can do is they're together and everyone's good before you would think that dark moment comes, and the dark moment isn't suspense, but it's that emotional upheaval for something else, and it brings them closer together. So that's not technically a
It's not a
breakup,
third act
but
breakup.
It's not a third act breakup, and it's not a tornado or a shooting or something.
We
but
call it a
it's-
dark moment without breakup.
Yeah, the dark moment. It's like a gray moment.
Yeah.
because the
And that, excuse me, and those are fine, but there's been a couple books that we've read lately, but they don't even have that. They have no gray moment. They have no emotional aspect that comes into the relationship at all. It's just like blah.
Well, and then you
Yes, I
see
find that boring.
the reviews are it was such a great vibe. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
That
And
they
and
like
that's to reviewers. That's not to you authors.
yeah,
But like,
no,
I
because
like
that's what they.
porn.
Well, I mean, if readers like that and the authors are providing that, then that's fine. That's just not what I do.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Which is why I keep reading your books, because you keep giving
and
me.
it's not what
Maybe
I
that's
write.
our, I think it's
I
our
want
age
that
though.
I want that the first time that I literally out of what fantasy and paranormal stuff, the first time that I really felt like that, like your heart really hurt, was in The Duke and I, where Daphne was like, I didn't realize that
Mm-hmm.
you would rather die than marry me. And so just the way that she had said that, like I wanted that, and that wasn't a breakup or anything, but I
No.
wanted that emotion. So like I want to hurt because like for a year I didn't feel a single thing. And I
Right.
didn't realize that I wasn't feeling a single thing. I was going with emotions and I was writing and I'm telling everyone that I'm fine, I can do this, and I wasn't feeling anything. And I needed to write those beats to feel it. And I needed to make you guys hurt because I was hurting.
Yeah.
And I needed to read hurting. So I need that breakup or that boom.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be emotionally invested in the characters, and that's something like for Melanie with your Reynolds restoration books, that's something each of those characters had a very unique story, and I was invested in them. Like
Mm-hmm.
these guys were my guys, and the women were so profound. I was so emotionally invested in them that, even because there's a third act in the first book because he's a dumbass.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think there's a second. The second book has a third. Does not. I don't think the second book had a third act. Break.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah. She runs.
She does. That's right. Because yeah,
Because she's a
And
dumbass.
the third book is nothing but
Yeah.
third act breakups.
right. They are never really together though, Melanie. Like that third book.
You'll love Dom that comes out on Thursday.
I'm excited for him.
Yes,
So
his
excited.
what I expected from his backstory wasn't what I got at all. It was very emotional.
I literally don't remember if I broke them up. Sorry.
Carrie's like running her own little word here. Do you? So is that surprising for you when you both of you, like you sit down and you think you know this character and then you start writing and the character is not who you thought they were? Does that surprise you? Or are you just like, yeah, this is just me?
No, it always surprises me, and it's I enjoy discovering it, because if I enjoy it, the reader's going to enjoy it. When I wrote Aiden, I
Mhm.
had him all written as a happy-go-lucky
Oh, but
guy,
he wasn't.
and he was not. There was so many. Karen calls him her onion because there were so many layers to peel,
Mhm.
and
Little ogre.
it really surprised me with his backstory and the pain that he was hiding.
Mhm.
So
What about you, Carrie? Even though you're such a plotter, do your characters ever surprise you?
So like right now I'm writing a book one of a series. So I think I know who they are. And I have like parts of my spreadsheet going, happy, go lucky, what the hell is he hiding? Like things like that. And so I don't know them yet. And I think I want him, like, I need the tone of this to be happy, like a little beater, because she's going to be the dark moment, my little storm cloud. And it
Mhm.
turns out that, like, I think I'm wrong with book 3 already. Like, and I haven't even plotted it yet, but I think I do not know that guy. I think he's going to change things. But as soon as I plot the book, then I know who they are.
Yeah.
But like, because I deep plot, so I don't. So my dev edits are pretty much straight through
Mhm.
because I've spent so much time working through it. So that way I can sit and even before I dictated, but now that I really dictate, I'm in the book because I already know what's going to happen, so I can feel all of the emotions. So they surprise me plotting, and they surprise me 4 books ahead. But writing it, what they say surprises me, and what the side characters do surprise me.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
usually I have them tame. And I've said this and I've put myself into a corner because now my hero is going to like ruin me as I finish this book next week.
I think it's fascinating because, Mike will say to me, "Oh, you should just write your own book. You have ideas, things." But people don't talk to me like that. I don't know them. Like, I can read your book and tell you about them, but I can't just randomly make a guy up on the side. I
I mean,
mean,
you could, but I think it's really interesting. Like, out of all of the authors we talked about, everybody's process is so vastly different. Like, there's one or two like elements that could be similar between authors, but it's so different across the board.
And the best part of this conversation is Melanie and I have been at this for 10 to 15 years, and neither one of us has grimaced or go, really, that's how you do it, or I could never do that.
Yeah.
We just know our process.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm in absolute amazement at your process. I wish I could do that, but I can't. I tried that for one book and I wrote a whole page, which for
And
me
you're
is
like,
a
nope,
lot.
no, thank
And then
you.
when I got the book, finished the book, I'm like, there is nothing on this page that is in the book. It just doesn't work for me. I think someone who can do that is amazing.
And I like
Good for you, girl.
I like the idea of just being able to sit down and things just make sense with you not having to have a spreadsheet and have
Mhm.
like I don't have I have a spreadsheet of the characters so I know their names and what they look like and things. But like I like the idea that it's just like coming towards you, because sometimes I'm afraid I'm almost too analytical when I think about it.
But
And
it
I
works for you.
and it
Mhm.
does, but like you get the self-doubt. And so I love the way that you do it because it's so different from mine, and I wish I could, but I can't. The green grass is green on the other side thing.
Yeah, always. And this
Mhm.
business thrives on self-doubt. Let's face it.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome is right within us all. And when I hear how somebody else does it, I'm like, well, I never thought to do it that way. And that's just because that's not the way I do it.
Mhm.
But it's there. I think there's 1,000 different ways you can write a book, and everyone has what works for them.
Yeah.
And I'm an absolute pantser, and that's just
It
the way it
works.
is. I get a scene and I write chapter 15, then I write chapter 1, then I write the end. Sometimes I write the epilogue. And then, I know where everyone's going, but I have no idea how they're going to get there. And then I have to piece it together.
Do
I
you know what books you write next? Or do you, once you finish writing, you just write the next one?
Well, I used to be really good and I knew exactly what I was writing this year, but it hasn't been that way I was really sick last year and it sort of threw my
Mhm.
whole process off. And I know it's only June, but I feel like I haven't found my way this year. A book that's coming out in September was not planned at all. And then it hit me and I couldn't write anything else. So The Men of Hidden Justice, or The Men of the Falls, was not supposed to ever be written. And I wrote those 2 books in 8 weeks, and they just came out of nowhere.
Are
But
we getting
now,
more from them?
maybe if you think about the book,
Yeah, there's the other family.
Mhm. I know these things.
yes. So there's somebody talking, but the other day I got a whole plot line, and I've been squirreling little bits in my head, and it's something that I hadn't planned on writing again. So
Yeah, like I have to know, like I have to know what I'm writing next because I have to weave them in beforehand. And
Mhm.
so and because the book that I'm writing next in the Wilders, which I'll just spoil it. I'll just spoil something a little. I'm not going to, then my next spinoff isn't a spinoff of the Wilders, not the Montgomerys.
Oh,
And so, which is big for me because I don't usually do that.
Mhm.
right.
And so the heroine is going to bring a lot of shadow drama. And so I needed to know a little bit about her, and that's 2026. And so, like she's not 2026, but her family would be 2026. So I needed to know that. So I had my little spreadsheet out with, I had my spreadsheet and I had my calendar, and I was like, okay, so this is each month. And I had to like move everything around to be like, okay, I can't have two Montgomerys next to each other, or maybe I can, and so I needed to do that to calm down. And because I tried not to think that far ahead, I was like, let's not do 20. And I couldn't write for 2 weeks because I was so afraid of, I just could not, I needed to know. And so it's already on my calendar. It's annoying.
But it works for you, and that's what makes you
Yes.
comfortable.
Totally. But I can't, I have to start like scheduling a surprise for myself so I can do
Give
random
yourself some
projects.
grace and space. Because according to Karen, Melanie, that's all you give us is surprises anymore.
Yes.
Which does not make, you know what though? It doesn't make me sad. Like, I'm always happy. And I'll be honest, you know, because it's me. I'm always going to be honest. But like Carrie Ann, like I knew the last book was The Brothers that came out, you know, the 3 Bar Brothers. And do I know what the next release is? No. Is it on my calendar? Yep, it's written in there, but I don't really know. I just know I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
Same with Melanie. I knew that there's a Reynolds restoration book coming. It's pre-ordered. It will show up on my Kindle and I will read it.
Like right now I alternate. It's,
Yeah.
first time Wilder Montgomery, and then it'll be Wilder Cage Montgomery. But after that, the next series, I'm sort of changing it up
It's okay.
and just doing 2 Montgomerys a year. And then because I'm doing like back-to-back things because I had an idea, and ideas scare me. So
Just gotta schedule
but
yourself
I used to be clockwork of, now I'm just, everyone feels nice and comfortable. Okay, we're gonna throw it in the air.
I say go for it.
But we appreciate authors who are putting out the books that they want to put out, though, too. Like, it's something that you want to do. Like, those books are the books that we want to read. It's the books that the authors like care about and want to be writing, because you can tell. Like, you can tell when you're reading a book that an author is just putting that product out to get a book out, or whether or not, like, this is a book that I really needed to get on the page because it would not stop talking to me.
Yes.
We like those stories. Okay. So we're gonna move on to our next segment. Hey.
Okay. I didn't like the.
Hey. But I do want to share with you, the chat is going wild. It is Trina says, good luck with Dallas traffic, Carrie. It's her hometown and she hates driving in Dallas.
This is why I'm leaving early morning on Sunday to like get out before church gets out.
Smart.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
And Trina also says she is waiting for more Men of the Falls, Melanie. So
I'm sure she is. I hadn't planned on another one, but then they started to talk.
So why
love
not?
there
Why
are,
not?
I mean, I don't know. That happened with Carrie because you had the winemaker. I think it ended up being a 1001 Dark Nights, right? Book for you. The wine in the Wilder series.
A Wilder Wedding. That one?
The Wilder Wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote a novella, and I wasn't supposed to have, it was only supposed to be 6 books in the Wilder Brothers series.
Yeah. And how many are we getting?
10.
10.
And it's because I really wanted to write that wedding story. So I was like, okay, well, I
love
mentioned
that wedding
cousins.
story.
Yeah. That's my favorite one. And then the next one's the most fun. You're going to have fun with that one.
Cannot wait. Okay. So next we're going into our next segment, which is our book of the week. So it's book of the week time. Melanie. So for book of the week, for those that are new and just listening, and also for Melanie and Carrie, in this segment, we typically give a shout out to a book that we've currently read, or are anticipating that we think should be on more people's radar. For each of you, you are welcome to shout out your latest releases or a book you think in your backlist that more people should be reading, or a friend's book if you have a friend that had a new book out that you'd like to talk about. So, Carrie, what's your book of the week?
Can I have 2?
Yeah.
Sure.
There's no
Okay.
rules.
I'll just do, so we'll do mine first. So this came out
Last Minute
this
Fiance.
this on Monday, right? And so I came up with the titles before I came up with anything. So this was my favorite title that I've ever come up with, even
Mhm.
though I hate it because I have to do the little E every single time that I type it out. But so this is I one night stand, accidental pregnancy, fake fiance, which everything that people on Threads and TikTok were saying they hated, I put in this book
Thank you. Thank you
by
for
like
doing that.
accident. But like I had fun with it. And because, there's other people who say they like it. So this was my fun book.
Yeah.
I like a fun book.
And then the second book, because I'm breaking the rules, is The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lindy.
Yeah.
So I beta read of like one of the original drafts of that years ago. And so watching it do its thing right now with Red Tower, I read it again, like
hmm
I'm really excited for this.
I'm really
I hope
proud.
you get
That
this.
cover is gorgeous. And
It
they
is.
did her right with all the beautiful edges and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm seeing her on Wednesday, and I'm bringing like my mom's hardcover and my hardcover. I'm like, okay, so you're signing them.
That's so sweet. I love that. Yeah, I know that lots of people are excited about that, and it's
Mhm.
romantasy,
It,
correct?
yes, urban romance. So it's a little more urban
Okay.
than, but it's out now. It came out on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Exciting.
It's been getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of buzz.
Okay, Melanie, what's your book of the week?
Well, I don't have my new book yet, but I don't even think you can see the cover.
No, it's Full Throttle.
Full Throttle, which is the last book of the Reynolds restoration, and it's Dom and Cherry's story.
Wait,
So
wasn't the
there's
last book in the Reynolds?
no.
Don't
There,
believe her when she
there,
says it's the last book
it's the
because
last book. You be quiet. You be quiet. Don't talk to Karen. So they're a slightly older couple, more set in their ways. He's very intense. She's very independent, a little stubborn, and he has to convince her to try a relationship with him. And
I like a stubborn.
it ends up being very emotional. And that comes out on Thursday. The audiobook apparently is already live.
I
Oh,
love that.
ACX.
and who do we have there? Is that again my boyfriend John Lane and
Yes.
Maxine?
And Maxine Mitchell. Yes.
Do I need to work with John Lane? Is what I'm hearing then.
Oh,
he's a good one to listen to.
friend.
You will not be
Well, I'm
disappointed.
always looking for different people.
He's very good.
So I fell in
He's
love with
very
John
good.
Lane
That's right.
because he does all of Brenna Morgan's books.
He does
And-
all of mine.
And he does all of
Mhm.
Really?
Melanie's. And so
Awesome.
like
He produces mine too.
I totally bought her entire catalog of
He's
audiobooks.
just got one of those great.
Mhm.
And he does
Great.
accents like
He does accents really well. Really well.
phenomenally
He does a
well.
lot of historical too, which is amazing when I hear some of his historicals.
Yeah.
Yes, so that comes out Thursday. We're very excited about it.
And I can get the audio tonight, is what you're saying?
Yes, the
Mhm.
audio's already out.
Really?
I asked for a pre-order. They informed me they didn't have enough time for a pre-order. I gave them 2.5 weeks. They said that wasn't enough time. So I said, I'll just do my usual. And I loaded it up. John approved it. And within 48 hours, the book was live. So I'm like, I don't understand ACXs, but they're owned by Amazon. So what do you expect?
Right.
So yes, so that comes out
Shh,
Thursday. We're
listening.
very excited. And it's Carrie's turn to go back for her second book.
Oh, I did.
She did
The
both
red
her.
one.
Yeah,
Red-
she
Oh,
did.
my new
She did
release.
them both already.
She did them
But
both.
Do you
I'm
have?
excited
Are
that I
you
had all
reading
three.
anything good right now?
Anybody?
No, because we just came back from PEI and
They have good ice wine from PEI.
okay, we had a lot of good lobster in PEI.
Okay, fine.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm reading Camden by Sawyer Bennett right now and already crying, so I'm happy.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, it's Sawyer.
I'm enjoying the series.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
It is a great
Gage is mine
series.
in that series. Like I like Tim first.
No,
He's mine.
no.
Gage is mine. Mine
No,
forever.
I want,
Oh no, mine
wait,
Drake
I
is
want the
mine
coach.
because he's a delightful asshole.
Oh,
I want
Oh
Cannon.
yeah,
Cannon. He is a dirty talker.
he's a good one.
Dirty talker.
He's like one of those closet dirty talkers that you don't expect, so it's even better.
Yeah.
Those are always the good ones.
Right?
They
He's all
really are.
protective of his team and rally at the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I picked the coach.
That's
She
a
can
good
have
one.
him.
Leah, what's your book of the week?
So was reading some Louisville knockout authors, and I went down this Chastity Bolin rabbit hole.
Okay.
It's called the Bourbon Blood series.
Oh, I've seen
It's
it.
based in Kentucky, and like they own a distillery, which would have been useful a couple weeks
I was going
ago.
to say we did our distillery episode a couple weeks ago.
We did, but yeah, it's really good. I had read her and Laramie Briscoe are doing a co-written series,
Okay.
and I was like, but I'd never read her. She does a lot of historical, which isn't really my jam, but I found these contemporaries and I've enjoyed them. They're a little mac and cheesy, but that's okay.
We like mac and cheese though.
I do like it.
My book of the week is Pole Position by Rebecca J. Caffrey. It's a trad pub release, but it's MM Formula One racing, enemies to lovers. And the cover's adorable, so I'm going to end up having to buy the cover. But the book was phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Recommend it. Especially, so I'm obsessed with racing right now. Like, I am loving all of these books that are coming out that are race cars, motorcycle racing. Like, I'm loving them. So,
And the season too has been like really wibbly and weird and
Mhm.
Yeah.
dramatic. I mean,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know when I I don't know when I started watching F1. I blame Andy J. Christopher and her love of Lewis Hamilton.
I don't actually watch the races.
She
I
just
just
likes to
read.
read them.
I just like to
Just
read.
like to read it.
Yeah, go sports.
Yeah, Becky's not a sports person. So like we read a hockey series recently where the hockey was very wrong, and Becky's like, if I can tell the hockey's wrong, it's real bad.
Dear.
We weren't reading it for the hockey.
We weren't. There was also like mafia in with the hockey and bullets, and it all made sense. It worked.
Yeah, it did.
Mafia on skates.
Yeah,
So
it
bad.
like Skating with the Stars, but skating with the mob.
I would read that.
It had vibes. I would read it too. Are you kidding? I would totally read it.
I would definitely read that.
100%.
Are you writing that down, Melanie? Did you just
No,
write
not at all.
I don't write sports, so
No, but could you imagine like a Dancing with the Stars, but the mob infiltrates? And over in the UK, they do have a reality TV show that is Skating with the Stars.
Mhm.
And like they have
Well,
professional.
the US had
Yeah.
something like that a few years ago.
Candace from the Great British Bake Off was on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Why do I know these things?
I
okay.
love
Because
the
you're
Great
a
British
writer.
Bake Off.
That's why
We
you know
are
these
full
things.
of useless information.
We really are full of it. All of it.
Yeah, no, I'm so
I
afraid
wasn't
of
going there.
getting the sports wrong that I don't write sports romance. I love reading it though.
A baking
Mhm.
competition. You could write us a baking competition. Bread week.
But
Things could happen in bread week.
No, it's always chocolate week in that hot tent.
Always in the hot tent.
There's like vats of chocolate that could get real messy and gross.
Well, no, not for certain things. This is no, we're not. No.
No food. It's the bake
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, and then afterwards with the handshake for fun.
She air
Not
quotes it.
handshake.
She air quoted the handshake.
Because maybe it's not really a handshake, Leah.
Apparently,
Or maybe
I'm
it's a
writing
special kind of
I'm
handshake.
writing Paul Hollywood fan fiction right now, but in this one, you know.
I'm really okay with all of this, to be honest. And
I would
age
read
gap.
that as well.
Like,
I'm not
soggy
surprised,
bottoms,
Becky.
everything. We've got it.
I do have a thing for Paul Hollywood. Like, I mean, those eyes, those blue eyes, and I mean, I hear he's a giant
Have you-
asshole, but
Yeah, that kind of
I
ruins
keep
it.
I keep coming across that like reel of like the beaver
the lady
cakes-
who made the beaver cake.
the beaver cake, and you
Let's
like,
have a
is-
good look at your beaver.
Is your beaver moist?
But
Like I
so
hate.
Paul Hollywood is a jerk, but he has pretty eyes, and
Yeah.
he gives out handshakes too much right now. But the his second cookbook, bread book,
Yeah.
is amazing for starter people who want to learn how to like do uh, easy bakes.
Yeah.
So like that's what
Ooh,
Dan and I use to start doing like rolls and white breads and cobs and
maybe I
stuff.
should get that because we go through a lot of bread.
Not a bread. I can bake chocolate chip cookies. Mike Burrier has to bake all the bread, though.
Um, Michael can't barely turn our oven on,
Right?
so
He didn't turn the stove
So
on for dinner.
the year before Dan died, we did Rom Bake Off. So it was me and 10 other romance authors, and we
uh-huh.
did 10 weeks we did the technical challenges
Oh,
together.
fun.
And
That
that was
sounds
when like
fun.
that was in the Twitter heyday of us like hashtagging things too.
Yeah.
The Twitter heyday. Man, she's aging us right now.
I know, right? And she's the youngest one in the room.
That's true.
She is.
Okay, so real
As
quick,
the cat's like attacking all of her stuff. It was just a tail going past.
it's fine.
I'm so sorry.
Patreon update. Welcome to our new Patreon members, Sarah S., Aaron, and Bonnie. Thank you for joining us on Patreon. We are excited to have you. And celebrating 1 year in the Hive is Elise. You have sponsored 156 episodes of Buzzing About Romance, and we have more to come this year. Did you know that we have a free tier on Patreon? We frequently make announcements, share early details there, posting before posting on social media. If you participate in our reading challenges or events, participation stickers will be exclusive to Patreon members, including the free tier. For authors, it's a fantastic way to stay informed about upcoming events and opportunities to participate. Callouts for event participation will be offered to followers there first. Don't worry, Melanie, Karen is already over there.
Thank God.
Swag packs are headed out this week. I'm so excited to share that our swag pack sponsors for June are authors Tia Louise and multi-author series Fork to Table. Swag packs go out to Fancy Drinks Cold Brew and Queen Bee tiers, and we still have fun Buzzing About Romance exclusive stickers, mood reading cards, and other fun things. They are mailed monthly around the 10th of the month, and we do ship these internationally. This perk is mailed only once monthly. If you join after the 10th, your first swag pack will be mailed the following month. All members of Patreon get exclusive episodes along with perks like Buzzing Book Club, and you can find a list of all of our upcoming events at bookcaseandcoffee.com/events, including happy hours, IG lives, and book clubs. Programming note, if you are following along for our Sip and Discuss episodes, we had to change a title out. We are no longer reading The Gossip and the Grump by Pippa Grant. Instead, we have switched it with Bet Me by Jennifer Cruzy. You can find details about that on our website or over on Patreon. But make sure you come back here and join us Wednesday night for our next episode where we are discussing Savor It by Tara DeWitt. And I think that's it. I think that's everything.
And then some.
And then some. That's a wrap for this episode of Buzzing About Romance. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. Thank you very much to the incredible Melanie Moreland and Carrie Ann Ryan for joining us. Until next time, everybody.
Happy reading, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.